Hello and welcome back to Bloodborne. This is part 7 of our Beast Cutter run. Last time we went through the Ailing Loran Chalice, fighting one of my favorite bosses in the game. One that most people don't see unless they go through the chalices, so we had a lot of fun there. And this time, as you can see, we are starting out on the second floor of the lecture building. And we are going to make our way to the Nightmare Land after we get through the slug people. I know that they aren't really slugs and they're just kind of slime because they tried to evolve, but slugs are neat, so. And we're gonna go through this doorway and not through the hallway. Down there is the big room that ended with the Augur of Abritas. And while we went down there before, this is how you're quote-unquote supposed to get there. So, don't know why the game locked onto them. But there was a note back there. We're not gonna read it. But this brings us back to the long hallway, corridor, whatever you want to call it, that we skipped. So that entire section was pretty much just for that one note. The note that we didn't read. So, as you can see, we are clearly on top of things. And there's a note, we're not going to read it, and there's another note. Not gonna read it. We are 3 for 3 right now. Let's see if that'll hold up. But continuing on, now we can make it to the other side of the hallway, corridor, balcony, whatever you want to call it. And here, I realized I hadn't been using this in a while, so decided to go for it. And I didn't think it would hit the enemy behind us, but it did. So that was a welcome surprise, I suppose we can call it. So Beast Cutter, it's doing pretty good. It keeps surprising me. Down there we got the key and an armor set. And here we can get ourselves a rune. Not just any rune, communion. Which gives you more blood vials. This was the +2 version, I think. And we have a 3 and 4 already, so. Not as good, but they do stack, so. If you want to go into a boss fight with just like 30 blood vials, you can. And these guys, we have not fought in a while, seeing as you only really see them in Cathedral Wars. I mean, there are 1 or 2 down in the Poison Lake, but I skipped that because nothing down there is worth it. And here we have Patches. Which, we got insight just for saying him, which is neat.
Oh, this cannot be. You cannot be. No, you didn't. Lord Amygdala? What?
Once again, he pronounces it amygdala, not amygdala, so that's... I'm just taking things from the source material. But down that hallway's the door for Nightmare Frontier.
Do you think it... Oh. No matter.
Anti-clockwise metamorphosis is very nice. It is the +15 max stamina. There is another +10% one, I believe in Forbidden Woods, that I didn't pick up because I don't know, honestly. It's a very good one. But we're just gonna kill him.
That was uncharitably done. That was uncharitably done, dear friend.
I don't normally kill Patches in these games, but in this one he's a spider, and we over here don't vibe with spiders. That's not how we operate here. Spiders are the enemy of humanity. Hey, threaded cane. We used that last run, and it was surprisingly similar to this weapon. But moving on, going through that door teleports us here, and that baby can stop crying. But this enemy may be familiar, but they do have something new to them. You see, if you kill them, they spray out two little worm things that we saw over in Kaner's castle. But if you kill them with a backstab or parry, then they don't spit those snakes out. So, really encourages parrying and backstabs, which I think is pretty cool. And that glowing light will give you frenzy if you stand out in the open. And this is the main point of having the one Carol rune that gives frenzy resistance. And I normally put it on, but I didn't here. But I really didn't want to go through 2 loading screens, going to the dream and back. And so I thought, yeah, I'll just tank it. How bad could it be? Come on. So, here, no parry or backstab, so the 2 little worms shoot out. But I didn't feel like killing them, so we just ran on ahead. And a pretty popular strategy here is to just ignore everything and to just run forward. Because once you get over onto this left side, you break a line of sight of the giant thing shooting you, and so you're free to just exist. Now, the Lauren Silver Beast, I don't think has ever chased me up here. Or at least it hasn't in a very long time. And it almost never does. Which is why I tried to get the backstab on the one enemy. Because chasing is just something they don't do. But they did it here, so that's our luck, I suppose. But bad luck doesn't matter because we have the Beast Cutter. It is very powerful. And the worms can be annoying, but they're not strong, so. And these guys can't get through this door, so you can just wail on them, it's fine. They can't do anything about it. Unless they do a jump attack, then they can get in. But they, you'll be fine. I believe in you, friend. But if you walk, then you can backstab this guy. And the boulder thrower can't go this high up. And you can hear the sound and you can see the light of the glowing thing that shoots you with the frenzy, but don't worry about that. They can kind of see you, I think, but they can't shoot you here, so it's fine. And I didn't think that parry would work, because the blunderbuss isn't fond of bringing things down into a parry state when it does that little damage, but we'll take it, I guess. And once you get past, like, that guy, then you're safe from the frenzy. There is one item down there that I didn't pick up, but I believe it's just like a Cold Blood 7, which is like a little over 1,000 blood echoes. And this is a room. We will get to this in a second. For now, here, if you're playing online, there's a bell-ringing woman. And Bell-ring women are an enemy I talked about in the last part, and I talked about how I think they're really interesting enemies. The one here isn't an enemy like them. It just summons invaders, but they still have a neat design. But coming into this room, they, if you get, like, if you stand in a certain spot, the spiders will come down, and that did no damage. It's a +6 blunderbuss with a heal gem instead of a damage gem. And so, like, if we had an Evelyn, things would be very different. And, yeah, like 35 + 0. And we only have 6 blood tinge. So yeah, if we had like a pistol or an Evelyn, it would do a lot more damage, but this isn't about damage, this isn't about one-shotting the spiders with a gun. This is just about getting a little bit of damage just to get their attention, just to bring them on. And that was rude. Now die. Alright, good, good. Now, we could keep going one at a time, but I figured I'm just going to speed this up. And I'm using throwing knives because the blunderbuss shoots out a spread shot, and I didn't want to accidentally have one of the, like, bullets hit the big spider, because no. But yeah, you can use like throwing knives or pebbles or your gun to get all the small ones to come into this side room. And then you can kill them easily. And then you can deal with the big spider when it's by itself. Now you can run through that door and just ignore the big spider. But as I said with patches, we don't vibe with spiders here. And so they must die. And thankfully it's not too difficult. It has a lot of poise though, so be careful of that. But beyond it just being a spider, I mean, also Beast Cutter, we're wearing the Butcher set. Even if it's just a nightmare, we're killing everything. And baby can shut up. But thought we were gonna get that. And this hunter is very worrisome because they have a fast weapon. Their left-handed weapon can't parry you, but it has an AoE and it does pretty decent damage. And he also has Augur of Abritas, which does a lot of damage. And so this alternate form with the higher range, really good for that fight. Now, you can just run past him, but we're going to go to that exact same bridge later on, so figure just kill him now. But continuing on down here, we are lured over by an item where we can then notice there's an elevator. And it does some wonky camera stuff because it goes a little too fast. And then we get a lamp. Now you can go down that way, and there's a few enemies, and you'll get shot by the Frenzied barbs. But you get an eye room. It's a weaker version, but they stack. Now I'm not going to be doing any grinding on this character, so I figured I'm just gonna save myself the time in the blood vials and just keep moving on. And a rare occurrence, but I learned. I learned from last run, because last run with the threaded cane, I said, you know what, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna leave these little guys alone. They're not messing with me. I'm not gonna mess with them. And they backstabbed me, so they all die now. It doesn't matter that they're being peaceful at this moment, they may not be peaceful in the future, and so they die. Now, if they were always peaceful, like that one specific bird in Hemwick Charnel Lane, I just leave them alone. I hunt beasts, not pacifists. But I especially hunt two-timers. If you pretend to be a friend and then you stab me in the back, you definitely die. That's why Patches died. It definitely wasn't because he was a spider. No. If you see me play Dark Souls 1 or 3, you know I definitely kill him every time. That is, that's something I definitely do every time, and I don't leave him alive, and I don't like him more than a lot of the other NPCs because he's actually super helpful. Nah. This isn't gaslighting. I don't know what you're talking about. But these guys have little crossbows that they shoot you with. And yeah, there's also a big mama. And so you have the beefy melee character and the smaller ranged characters. But you can either avoid Big Mama and get licks on the crossbowmen when you can, or you lure Big Mama around a corner and take them out first. Either way, both strategies are valid, and either way you can get yourself a win. And I don't think I've ever needed it, but still sending that elevator down just in case we die before we get the next one. And this bird dog didn't feel like coming down, so we just gotta move on. And yeah, here are there's no longer birds and dogs, there are now dog birds and bird dogs. Which are very, very interesting. I really like these ones. The bird bodies and dog heads. It just feels like the best of both worlds. Whereas the dog body bird head just... oh. They look wrong. Like, the bird body dog head, it doesn't look wrong to me. I don't know why. It's kind of cute. But here, we get another blood gem. And this one gives you 12.6% damage and slightly boosts your rally potential. Which isn't nearly as good as the other ones we've gotten so far. But if you use like 2 or possibly even 3 weapons, it's not a bad one to slot as a backup weapon. But baby crying, which we're going to ignore, and these little skeleton puppets, we're just gonna ignore them as well, and we're gonna skip the cutscene because I hate this guy, and we're gonna put on Beast Roar because Beast Roar is very, very good for this boss fight. And I'm sorry if you don't like me skipping the cutscenes. Again, for like the saw, cleaver, hunter axe, you know, the 4 weapons where I can get them in the first area, I'm gonna listen to all the dialogue and watch all the cutscenes, but I'm not gonna do that every run. But here, I didn't explain how we got into here, but it doesn't matter. I will do that in other runs. I think I did it in the Threaded Cane run. And, ooh. But, yeah, as of right now, Mikolosh only has 1 attack, and it's Augur of Abridas. Which, I didn't do it here. Not entirely sure why, but you can pretty easily just smack him into a corner and just walk like side to side, and he will never hit you with Augur of Abridas. It's pretty funny. See, he laughed. He thinks it's funny too. But moving on. Right is continuing the boss fight. Left is for items and whatnots. Like this little skittery-doo. Which he's gonna talk right as we go to pick up the item, isn't he? Oh no.
Ah, of course.
He did it right after, but he was kind enough to let us pick the item up. That's very kind of him. So, down here, it's a bit of a walk. I'm sorry, but down here, there's another little shootery dude and a big mama. And stop moaning. But it's good to lure the big mama back. And I'm very good at parrying, as you can obviously tell. First try. But he's also very fond of talking right as you try to pick up this next item.
Ah,
Yep. Well, that gets you the moon rune, which gives you more blood echoes. And there are 3 different moon runes. They all stack. Pretty cool. But that's all that's there. It's a dead end besides that. So now you can run back up. And stop moaning. I don't have headphones that work with my PS4. And so anytime he moans, my parents can hear it. And they probably think it's weird. Stop. I'm gonna kill this man. And he went through a mirror. The only thing I'm not allowed to look at. But it's okay. We will get out of my way. Thank you. I'm not gonna kill you because you did what I asked. But if you head down here, then there's another item, and he's below you. And you're supposed to drop down and he runs away some more. But you can also throw items at him, because he goes right back to where he just was. And so you can just keep doing this. And I'm not going to kill him like this, but this is a great way to chunk down his health bar, because he is far more dangerous in phase 2. He has a very difficult to avoid attack that can one-shot most builds, which is a bit tough. And so getting him as low as possible before putting yourself at that risk is very good. And this is another reason why I tend to pick the pistols, because they do a lot more damage, which really helps you here. Because if we shot him with the blunderbuss, it'd do like 2 damage. But with the pistol, especially if you have some of the, I forget what it's called, but the like bone ash stuff that you can put in your gun, you can do like 700 damage. It's pretty good. And poison knives do this. And if you look at his health bar,
ah, God.
shush, his health bar just like isn't going down. So I've heard a lot of people say you can cheese him with throwing knives or poison knives. I don't know if they patched that out,
As you want, Rob.
or shush, or if people are just wrong, or what's going on, but yeah, if you hit him with too many poison knives, he just dips. So like I said, it's a lot better to use a pistol and to just shoot him. And that's a key that we'll use for a door later on. You can't get to it yet. You can't access it until Mikolosh is dead. But he's back now. And, well, he immediately went running. So let's chase him a little bit, I suppose. you shouldn't normally do this, but I felt like goofing around a little bit and didn't really feel like fighting him. But off he goes again, and that puts him right back down there where we can just keep pelting him with poison arrows, poison knives. You know what? They are poison arrows. My arm is the bow.
Ah, come.
But here I went, okay, I'm getting a bit impatient. This was fun, but him dipping every 2 poison knives, just... We could do better than this. And stop moaning. And so I figured, might as well just take the poison knives off, and then just go fight him legit. And once I said that, he figured, okay, it's safe for me to come out, because I can just one-shot this person with my big attack. Because going into phase 2, not only does he have Augur Breeders, get out of my way, thank you, I'll let you live because you did what I asked. But he also has a Call Beyond, which is very powerful. And he tends to use it right as you drop down, and speak of the devil. And good thing we avoided that by crouching down. But yeah, you can just wail on him. He's very weak, he's a pushover baby. But we'll throw him a shiny coin anyways. And cutscene, which we're going to skip. Again, if you want to see all the cutscenes, Saw Cleaver, whenever that run comes out, I use a random number generator to figure out which weapon I'm going to use next, so who knows when that'll be. But the bridge we took to go into the boss fight has moved up to here, and that now lets us leave the boss fight, and that's just what that cutscene showed, so nothing else to it. But since we got there, I decided we can head back to the Hunter's Dream. We can pop some blood echoes. We can sell some items because more money. And also mostly to clear up the inventory, honestly, because I like just having the stuff that's actually useful to me. But I mean, that's like 12 and 13%. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Like, for a secondary weapon, at least. But here... Nope, not yet. Alright. That'll be next boss, then. We'll get something neat. And I figured we have chunks. We can upgrade our Uncanny and Lost piece cutters as well. Now, I haven't been using them here, but I have been using them in the Chalice dungeons. Oh, like I said, not really showing those because I don't want to bog you down with Chalice dungeons too much. But here we have a stronger moon rune. They do stack, but I also want to have frenzy resistance. And yeah, that more than doubled our frenzy bar, which is very nice, very nice.
Welcome. What? Very well.
But I forgot that we hard capped vitality, endurance, and strength. But strength is still the best option, so moving on, we can now head back to Mirgu's loft middle. And bridge to the side. That's the bridge we just came across. And murder the dog birds and the bird dogs, get some more chunks. And moving on, baby crying. They can shush. What over here? There's another cage that we can ride up. And this is a shortcut, but it also gets you to a little side area. And I missed. So we're just gonna quit out. I rolled too early and hit the top of the thing, which made me fall down, but we are just going to come to a collective agreement that this did not happen. Okay? This didn't happen. This isn't real. I never went down that elevator. I never missed the roll. We are going to agree on that. And see, we're at the top. We're not dead. This is still at the top. We never missed the roll. This is our first time going through. We made it. First try. We can agree on that. And as a bribery, you now know that technique of quitting the game to avoid death. It doesn't work on Dark Souls 3. I've noticed. But here you want sedatives. Because these things do frenzy. And you want to just slurp the sedative, and it gets rid of the frenzy buildup. Which will save you a lot of blood vials, because every frenzy proc is 2 blood vials. And because of how frenzy keeps going up even after the input is stopped, ooh, blood gem. But because of that, and how long the Winter Lantern survives, every time is a proc. So, yeah. But there's one more, so. But the one we got from them, stamina cost reduction is not that good, and HP gradually depletes is garbage and a lie. Because HP quote-unquote gradually decreasing is a lot faster than it going up. And also 7 is a lot higher than like 2. But here we get 18%, and it's a droplet, meaning it can go anywhere. Remember, these are at like 12, 13%. And so, this is, if you ignore the, like, cursed ones that have a negative side effect, and the ones you can get by farming super late game chalice dungeons, like, if you just do the base game, that is the best gem you can get. And so, yeah, very worth it to come down here if you're looking to have more damage. But after those spiders, we can come down here and pull a lever. Cutscene. We're skipping the cutscene. We will get to what that does when we get to it. And here there are 2 spiders. Thankfully they don't have a face. And we can kill them. And here I made a mistake. Because if you look at our health, it is spiraling down. And I should have done a heavy attack to stun them again. I did not. And swung, it killed them, but Frenzy killed us. I think that's the first time I've died after getting the weapon. It might not. We might have had like one death at some point somewhere, but I really haven't died this run. But as you can see, I have the Frenzy Resistance rune on. And I still died to Frenzy. So yeah, Frenzy isn't something to disrespect. It's not something to just ignore. It is a threat. It is a big deal. It's something that you have to respect, or you will die. And I honestly really like that, because there's a lot of things in Bloodborne I just don't respect. Not saying that they're bad. Ooh, another cursed one. What does that do? What does that give us? That's useless because I don't do skill this run, but okay. But like I said, that doesn't make things bad. It's just very easy to stun lock things in Bloodborne. And so it's very easy to just stop respecting things as a threat. Because you can so easily just stun lock. So, ooh, another one. And, Frenzy? No, it's going down now. We're fine. Thrust attack up. I mean, we have the, like, we have that attack, but that's it, so. We got 3 and they're all useless. At least this run. But, anyways, like I said, being forced to respect something because it's a threat, even if you have a significant defense against it, it's like, I don't think Frenzy is BS. I've never died to Frenzy and went, that's unfair, or that it isn't balanced. I should use a sedative. It's like, Frenzy is a threat, but it doesn't go too far. And I like that. And we got another one. What does this one do? Okay. Good physical defense up, and weapon durability down isn't the worst thing, so. Okay. I mean, compared to the normal one, Choir Bell, throwing down a shining coin for the enemy because they killed us. And I gotta respect that. But compared to the normal one, that curse one we just picked up only gives us like 1.2% more damage, but it comes with a drawback. A very noticeable drawback. I mean, minus 50 durability, that's a lot. So, like I said, the guaranteed pickup one is just the best in the game. And here's that door that we got a key for during the boss fight. It leads you back into the boss room near the beginning. And it's mostly just a loop back. But not really useful. But here we have Arcane and Blood. So it's like this, but for their own respective damage types. And so if you're going for an Arcane or Blood build, there you go. But besides that, they're not nearly as universally useful as the first one. But here, we got a Blood Rock, which is pretty universally useful. And this is the bridge with the hunter I was talking about, where we could run past, but we're coming back anyways, so might as well. But that cutscene that I skipped by pulling the lever, that gets rid of the frenzy thing that was shooting us in the beginning of the area. But it also brings this small little elevator here. And it also gives something down at the bottom. So what we're gonna do is we are going to throw in the make contact gesture that we got way back in Upper Cathedral Ward, because this is useful. This is where you use it. So what you do is you head out straight forward, maybe slightly to the left, and you use make contact in front of this thing. And I don't know if you can do it anywhere or if you have to be within a certain proximity of it. I just do it in front of the eye because I know that works. And this takes like a full minute. As you can see, it'll skip ahead to skip most of it, but you do that and you get the moon rune, and then you can start swinging on it. It has a lot of health, so another little sneaky skip, and we can cut straight to the end where we kill it, and we get living string, which is needed for a certain chalice dungeon. And then we can head back to Mirgo's Loft Middle, and that's that whole little side area, and baby can stop crying, and now we can go through the area normally. So everything we just did there with the death and the choir bell and the frenzy enemies and the whatnots and the who's a whatsits, yeah, that was all optional. That has nothing to do with anything you need to do. So, good stuff, but it's optional. Now, it is good stuff, which is why we did it, but if you just want to beeline to the end of the area, then I forgot to put on the third moon rune. Well, we're going to pretend that that didn't happen. And we're going to move on. So a chush. But instead of taking a right, you just take a left and you can go through the 3 Shadows of Yharnam. And, I mean, beast cutter? There's a beast. We're gonna cut the beast. And look away. Look away. And, oh, they survived. Okay. Well, we're, look away. Look away. That didn't happen. And you're not going to question it. Now, there was a little side thing off to the left that we could have dropped down. But we're not going to do that. Uh-oh. I, should have been a bit further back, shouldn't I? Oh well, it's fine, it's fine. We can just keep swinging. Ow. Don't worry, I can just keep face tanking. And oh. Ow. Don't worry. Like I said, we can just keep face tanking it. Because the Beast Cutter is a very good weapon. And we get lots of blood vials back anyways. So don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Now you can go straight forward and there's some more Shadows of Yharnam. And then the boss. Or Nourishing Damp. What does that give us? 15%. Also very good if you got a second weapon you're using. But right before the pig, we can make this drop down. And this lets you skip the 3 pigs. And there's some chunks down here. So you can get those. And so if you don't want to deal with the pigs, or if your weapon isn't very good against them, then you can go this pathing instead. And it gets you to the same end location. Though there are 2 Shadows of Yharnam. Easily skippable as well, if you just run past them. But if you're playing online, there's a bell-ringing woman here. Again, not like the ones in the chalices. She doesn't summon enemies, she summons invaders. Which is a type of enemy, I suppose, but... moving on. Yeah. So, in the boss fight, there were 3 Shadows of Yharnam. Ow. But here there are 4. There are 2 of the katana ones. Though they're very aggressive, and so it's very easy to kill them. And Beast Cutter alternate form is very, very good for taking out crowds. I thought that was gonna hit me. That did hit me. But they're willing to just sit there, so that's kind of them, I suppose. But yeah, people say Threaded Cane is the crowd control weapon, but Beast Cutter is so much better at it because it has more range. So range is crucial for crowd control. And it also has very good damage, so. And it's basically the same speed. It might be a tiny bit slower, but I haven't been noticing a big difference. But that elevator we just went down leads you back to the beginning of the area, so this area is just a big circle. And send that down just in case we die. Baby crying. This is a very easy boss, so I doubt we'll die, but as like a just in case. And this boss, they hit very hard, except for that attack. But even though they hit very hard, the attacks are pretty slow and telegraphed, and you can iframe through pretty much all of them. The only one you can't iframe through is the multi-hit one. The one where they swing all over the place. And they teleported? Right. And that where they raise their arms into the air, that covers the area and makes everything dark, and it spawns a second one, but if you wail on them enough, you might be able to stun them out of it, which is very nice. But, oh, stun them again. Very nice. But this attack right here is the only one you can't fully iframe through, just because the attack itself will last too long. And we got an attack off. One of the transform attacks. Oh! I was really worried that was gonna hit us there. It wouldn't have killed us, but it would have done a lot of damage. But thankfully we got another stun off on them. And nope. And just like that, they die. So throw a shining coin down for them. And baby crying. Which, like I said, very easy boss. Their attacks are slow and very, very telegraphed, but I really love this boss. Mostly because of their design. I love that crow feather design. I just wish they were a little bit faster or had like a bit more health. But, we're gonna say this was done for tax purposes. I mean, definitely not done for tax purposes. That definitely not for tax purposes, so we're just, oof. Now, yeah, HP down, like I said, there are gems that give you HP back, but the HP going down is a lot faster than the HP going up gems, so just not worth it. It is just not worth it. Especially since the damage you get just isn't as good as, honestly, a lot of the normal blood gems you can get. Now, I don't typically use Choir Bell, but I'm going to keep it just in case. because we have the arcane to use it already, so like, just why not? Might come in handy in one of the chalices, but here, once we beat Mirgo's Wet Nurse, we can buy a blood rock for 60 insight, and the Thumeru Chalice, specifically the very first one, is incredible for getting lots of insight, because it's very cheap to make, and you get 6 insight for completing it, because 2 for each boss. And so, and you can buy infinite blood rocks now, so that's very nice. But here, we can get our beast cutter to +10. It is now maxed out. And blood gem stuff, I'm gonna skip that because I took way too long on it. And all that's really left is Gearman and Moon Presence, but there's still the DLC. And I'm gonna start off the next part by doing the DLC.
Good hunter, dawn will soon break.
I skipped the first line, so we can redo that.
Good hunter, you have come. Dawn will soon break. This night and this dream will end. Gammon awaits you at the foot of the great tree.
That's neat.
Very well,
And strength is still like the best option. Or is it? Do we finally give in? I think we finally give in and level up skill. We finally have to grow some skill in this game. No. I was hoping we wouldn't have to, but anyways, we went through Nightmare of Mensis, beating the 2 bosses there. We set this place on fire. We got our weapon to max upgrade. Very good progress, and yeah.